is by Councilman Sakala. May we all rise, please?
Good evening. Thanksgiving is a time to be grateful for what we have, to give thanks for our friends, our family, our health, and things in our lives that make us happy. So with Thanksgiving being Thursday, I thought it appropriate that we just take a moment to think about things that we are thankful for. All right, thank you. Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please.
Councilor Sakala.
here.
Councilor Crisati.
Here.
Councilor Finger.
Here.
Councilor Hendrickson.
Here.
Councilor Ludwig.
Here.
Councilor Mangini.
Here.
Councilor Nasuda.
Here.
Mayor Nelson.
Here.
Deputy Mayor Pisner.
Here.
Councilor Santinella is absent. Councilor Ungary.
Here.
10 members are present, 1 is absent.
Okay. In the event of a fire or an emergency, there are 2 means of exit from the council chambers. Exit out the rear doors and walk a safe distance away from the building, or exit through the side doors, go down 1 flight of stairs, out the doors, and walk a safe distance from the building. Thank you. Now, moving on to minutes of preceding meetings. I will entertain a motion for the special meeting of October 16th, 2023.
Second.
Motion's made and seconded. Are there any comments or corrections? Okay, all in favor? Opposed? Abstentions? 2 abstentions. Moving on to the regular meeting of October 16th, 2023.
Second.
Motion's made and seconded. Any comments, corrections? Seeing none, all in favor? Opposed? Abstentions? 2 abstentions. And moving on to the organizational meeting of November 13th, 2023.
So moved.
Motion's made and seconded. Any comments or corrections? Seeing none, all in favor? Against? Opposed or abstentions? Seeing none, it's unanimous. Okay, tonight we have a special guest, Jamie McSada of the Enfield Juniors Women's Club. Come on up, please. Yeah, take a seat.
Just make sure the red button's on.
Welcome.
Thank you. Good evening. Can you hear me?
Sure.
Thank you for having us. I'm here. I'm sitting with Cindy Friedrich, and we have a few other members of the organization behind us. I'm Jamie McSada, co-president of the Enfield Junior Women's Club, and the Enfield Junior Women's Club, in case you aren't familiar, is a civic not-for-profit organization and member of the Connecticut Junior Women's, Inc., a 501c3 organization. We were founded in 1970 after breaking away from the Federation of Women's Organization. There are approximately 1,000 juniors throughout the state of Connecticut, and in Enfield, we are an organization of currently 14 members. There is no age limit to being a junior, just so you know. Over the past 50 years, Juniors has supported numerous activities and organizations within Enfield and throughout the state. Most notably, we have given over $20,000 in scholarships to the Enfield high schools and provided donations to all safe grads. In 1984-1985, Juniors sponsored the first Arts on the Green craft fair, which continues to this day during the 4th of July celebration. A couple of years later, Juniors produced and distributed to all Connecticut police departments a tape about drunk driving and started a Get Smart, Don't Start drug program held at JFK Middle School. In 1990-1991, Juniors introduced a recycling program to Enfield. Working with the town, Juniors educated the people in Enfield about the benefits of recycling. Today, recycling is sponsored by the town. In 1995-96, juniors, in conjunction with the North Thompsonville Fire Department, hosted the first Torchlight Parade, which is now an annual event. Up until COVID, Enfield Juniors hosted the annual Spelling Bee for 5th and 6th graders every year. And we're hoping to resume that again soon. After 9/11, the town contacted Enfield Juniors, and we organized a memorial service on the town green and collected nearly $6,000 in donations sent to New York City. Throughout the years, Enfield Juniors has raised money to give back to the community. We donated money to the Enfield Police Department for the purchase of 2 GPS dog collars, Parkway Pavilion for outdoor umbrellas, Felician Adult Daycare for a refrigerator, among other numerous donations. Over the past many years, we have supported local groups such as the Network Against Domestic Abuse through donations and sponsoring a family at the holidays, also social service families. The Enfield Harbor, each year we put together, the Safe Harbor, each year we put together 50 backpacks filled with toiletries, hats, and socks, and warm items for the homeless. We've supported ERFC with their back-to-school backpack program, the Enfield Food Shelf through hosting food and turkey drives, and the Red Cross for hosting while we host annual blood drives. We also sponsor the Hat and Mitten Tree at the Enfield Public Library each year, where people make their donations, we collect them, and donate them to the local schools for children in need. For many years, we hosted a tea party for the local Girl Scouts for Mother's Day. And for several years, we sponsored a cancer awareness table at the Enfield Public Library where people could read about the various types of cancers and take a ribbon to wear. I could go on, but I think this gives you a good picture of what Enfield Juniors is all about, and we thank you for allowing us to share our organization with you. We do all these things through fundraising activities. Our current fundraiser is a raffle, so if you're interested, please let us know. And again, thank you for having us.
Well, thank you. Any questions from the counselors?
So, Jamie, if somebody wants to get involved and become a junior, how would they do that?
We have an email. It's Enfield, it's EJWC1970@gmail.com.
Or Facebook.
Or we are on Facebook. They can
Okay,
message
so you
us.
do have a Facebook?
We do have a
Okay.
Facebook page. Yes, thank you.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, I'm looking forward to the Torchlight Parade, favorite time of the year, and it's coming up December 3rd, I believe,
Yeah, yeah.
Sunday night. It's a great time, 6 o'clock start, 7 p.m. carols sing, and hopefully we see everybody out there.
Right. And if you're at the public library, the Enfield Public Library, we will be putting up a display window. We do it every year, and it really talks about what juniors is all about, some of the highlights and additional highlights from what I've said. So the Hat and Mitten Tree is there, so you can bring donations, and thank you.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, moving on to public communication. Any person who wishes to address the council shall first be recognized by the chair and shall state their name and address for the record. They shall limit their remarks to 5 minutes. After each person who desires has had a chance to speak, those desiring to speak again a second time will be permitted to do so and shall limit their remarks to 3 minutes. During public communications, item 7 on the agenda, public members shall limit their remarks to 2 rounds, 8 minutes. During public communication, items 14 on the agenda, if prior to 11 p.m., each person shall limit their remarks to 3 minutes. Public communication shall be limited to 1 hour unless extended by the majority vote of the council. All remarks should be addressed to the council as a whole and not to any individual member. All remarks addressed to the administration of the town shall be addressed to the town manager and not to any individual employees. Public members shall observe proper decorum and good conduct and shall refrain from personalities and improper language. Would anyone like to come up? George, come on up. Thank you.
Good evening. George Young, 8 Holly Lane, Enfield. Welcome to the new and elected and re-elected council members and the rehiring of the former town manager. Last month, I said that I was probably not going to say much more about the water pollution control, but this keeps my mind working. The water pollution control facility and the amount of funds borrowed and the 2% interest rate that was shown to us at the time to approve a $36 million referendum to fix the town's facility and its 16 pump stations. After the last council meeting, I reread the referendum we approved, and it said that the full pack of information was available in the office of the town clerk. A couple of weeks ago, I went there and read that full referendum. And when I was done reading, I asked to see the wastewater facilities plan dated May 18th, 2015, which was mentioned in the referendum, and lo and behold, it seemed like no one there could find it either. Now we move forward a week or so, and it was like pixie dust falling around when our newly appointed council decided to bring back the prior town manager, who was instrumental in promoting of the WPC resolution to fix the plant. I now address many of my questions to Mr. Bromson, who was not the town manager on August 24th, 2015, and the two council members, Sakala and Mangini, who were on the council that unanimously approved resolution number 3256 on August 24th, 2015. The vote was 10-0 with one person absent. Many of my prior questions were at the council meetings in the last 2 or 3 months, which I hoped they would go back and all read. Mr. Bromson presented on June 3rd, 2019, a Water Pollution Control Authority summary of projected principal and interest payments with separate amortization schedules covering the first 10 years of the combined loans or bonds totaling $27.8 million, with an interest rate of 2%, which would be $4.3 million for 10 years. I have since gotten a more up-to-date rate from the town finance director, and the bond rate was 3.24%. That rate has probably gone up since I received it more than a month ago, as new bonds were probably issued. I prepared a new combined amortization schedule at that new rate. If we project the borrowings and repayments out at the 3.24% rate, the total interest cost would be $6,990,986, or a difference in the first 10 years of $2,675,000. That theoretically means that the users of water in this town are picking up an average of an additional $267,553 expense for each year. We are either going to pay for it during the current fiscal year, or the monies will be moved from previously approved projects, or the expenses for the WPC will not be covered. I don't think the taxpayers were given good or best information at the time of this resolution. The other bottom line is that the council needs to ask more questions, get a better understanding of the WPC financial controls, and not just approve what certain people are telling you. When the wastewater facility is located, I would encourage all council members to read it before the next budget plan. That's the wastewater facilities plan. Perhaps it is at the DPW. I would suggest that the council request the town manager for a full report detailing the progress for this referendum. There should be a comparison of actual versus projected costs and overruns, and a percentage of completion of the WPC facility and the 16 pump stations. It would also be good to see a source of where the funds came from to support each project. In addition, if there is a plan to do a pump station, then where are those funds to be obtained from? Is there a timeline to complete this project, if any? Now for a change, I would like the new council to consider the lowering of the burden for seniors that they are facing for property taxation in this town. As with many other municipalities across the country, this is accomplished by freezing the real estate taxes or increasing the exemption for seniors. This governing body has not done enough to allow seniors to remain in their home. They cannot downsize because of insufficient affordable housing available in our area. With increasing values and higher mill rates, the council is eating away at our disposable income. Many of us are on a fixed income from working for a pension without COLAs, or dependent on a Social Security system which was never intended to support us the way the town thinks it should. You have been asking us to pay for many of the town's expenses, such as education and burden of uncontrollable interest costs for years now. It is time to rein in these costs and give seniors a break on their taxes. That's it for now. Thank you.
Thank you, George. Anyone else? Carl behind you. I'll call you next, Jen. Yep.
Thank you, Mayor. Carl Sfraza, 22 Taft Lane. I have never come up during community communications before, but I thought tonight was important that I come because just a few years ago, I sat where all of you sit now. And I learned during my short tenure on the town council how much time this job is going to take, how much sacrifice you're all going to put in, not only for your personal time, but from taking time from your family. And I just wanted to tell you all that I congratulate each and every one of you and thank you for willing to take on this job and move our town forward. Before I leave, I just want to thank and also congratulate Mr. Bromson. I think everybody knows Chris's tenure with the town is 3 decades old, going back to the 1990s. And, as chief of police, he was my public safety director. And, in the middle of the night, when I got those calls where bad things were happening, my first call was always to Chris. And I'd respond to the scene, and more often than not, I'd look to my right, and Chris would be there to see if he could coordinate any non-law enforcement resources to resolve the situation. Chris's priority back then was always the safety, the security, and the well-being, not only of the residents, but of the town staff. And I'm happy today that he's back in that role doing, I'm sure that's his priority now. I wish him well, and I wish each of you success, and more important than that, good health. Thank you.
Thank you, Carl. Jen?
Go ahead.
Okay. Hi. Good evening. My name's Jennifer Krasenkevich at 209 Abbey Road here in Enfield. Initially, I'm not really sure if this is the place that I should be voicing my concern, but I think it is. Again, as I mentioned, I'm at 209 Abbey Road, and directly behind our properties, there seems to be a lot of activity going on. Initially, last year, there was a bunch of surveyors. It's farmland at the moment. They farm various things from tobacco to squash to corn. They started surveying a lot last year, and I was trying to inquire, but lips were sealed at the time. So rumor has it that they're supposed to be putting in a solar farm back there. So again, that's a rumor. I don't know that for a fact, but I think it's a very accurate rumor. Last week, there was daily surveying. They're back there, they're digging, they're surveying, there's numerous flags. It looks like there's 3 portions of land back there that are, my understanding, are owned by 3 different individuals. So the reason that I'm here today is I'm wondering, as the public, the neighbors, where do we go to voice our concern regarding, A, what's going on with the property, B, is there any type of public hearing where we have any vote or say on the matter? I'm just surprised that I haven't seen anything, heard anything, and again, it's all just rumors. My concern is this. We went to put in a shed. We had to get a permit. We had to, go to town hall, get a permit, have them come back and inspect it for a shed on my own property, and yet I have no clue what's going on back there. And if it is a solar farm, I'm not a fan of it, so what do I do? The reason we moved where we did, and I've been in Enfield for 30 years and used to live off of Queen Street, I wanted the land behind me. I wanted the farm. That's the whole reason we moved where we are. And I love the farm. My family were farmers back in Windsor. And again, we want to voice our concern and find out from you guys, what do we need to do? How do we address this? Bobby?
Okay, my name is Barbara Audette. I've lived in Enfield for 48 years.
Address.
28 years on...
Your address, honey.
211 Abbey Road.
Thank you.
Sorry. 48 years. 28 years on Brett Lane and 20 years now on Abbey Road. And I've been a voter and I've been a moderator for the town here for 20 years, retired recently. We moved to Abbey Road because it's farm, and that's what we wanted. Excuse me. And I know for a fact that Gary Raffia is the part of the farm there that is looking to put solar. I talked to his cousin that lives right across the street from me at 212 Abbey Road, Karen Raffia. And when I saw them digging, she says they're looking for artifacts, whether they can do the solar there or not. Now, we've done a little bit of research, and there are issues with living close to a solar. And I've got pictures and videos of my backyard that I can show whoever. I invite all of you to come and sit on my backyard, on my deck, and see the field. And it's going to be less than 200 feet from my property. And I just don't think it's fair that you can take farmland and make it a solar farm. There has to be a difference, that it's safe and it's legal, and they could do it without any of the neighbors even knowing. Richard Renier, he's a neighbor of mine across the street, 208 Abbey. I just called him today, and he didn't even know what was going on. And he is planning on coming at some time tonight. But I'm very upset. I've been sick to my stomach since my neighbor Karen told me about this. I just lost my husband in April. He's buried at St. Bernard Cemetery on Park Street. They're putting a solar farm up there. Have any of you seen it? I sit there every morning with my coffee, and I say the rosary for my husband. And that is all you see and hear. It's disgusting. And now I'm thinking, do I want to leave my house? I'm retired. I don't want to leave there. I love where I live. But I don't want to be live right behind a solar panel either. And how is it going to affect the price of my property? What's the value of my house going to be? And this is really bothering me. My 3 children are very upset too. And Gary never, and my husband and I knew Gary. Karen couldn't believe he didn't even come over and tell us about it.
And may I speak again just for a moment? I mean, obviously, we're directly,
Yeah,
I had
right
my
there.
son go measure, it's less than 30 feet from my backyard to where the solar farm apparently is proposed. At least that's where the land is. I mean, it affects us, it affects the people on Town Farm Road who can see it. It's not just us. And again, had I known, I heard last minute about this
Yes.
meeting, I would have certainly gone door to door
You're
and
fine.
asked many of the neighbors.
Your 5 minutes is up.
Oh, okay.
You can come
Thank
back
you.
after if you want.
Okay.
Okay.
I appreciate it.
I'd
Thank you.
like to know, what can we do?
Yeah, that's
Is there
the bottom
anything-
line.
Do we have any say in this?
We can't do a back and forth, but we will address it under councilman communications.
Okay.
And hopefully give you some guidance or answers that you're looking for.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else for public communications the first time? Lucian?
Lucian Lefebvre, 54 Kimberly Drive, also chairman of the Enfield Veterans Council. I'm here to thank the members of the town that came out for our Veterans Day Parade, the members of the council that were able to make it. Everybody's got busy lives, and I know all of you can't make it. But especially I want to thank the support of the council and all the departments within the town of Enfield that make it possible for us to be able to do our parades. You know, from the police department to the EMS to Public Works, we can't ask for more support than we get. The only disappointment I had was the attendance along the side of the road. We tried to put it out on social media as much as we could. I saw it coming from different departments, from the PD, from the EMS, from the town council, from the town manager's office, that the parade was happening. And I know it was a change of time and day, so we could do it on the 11-11-11 concept. To the people out there in the town, if there is a better way for us to get the information out to the public, to get to participation along the parade route, just let us know. We'll try anything to get back to having those big crowds along the parade route. It's important that we, respect the veterans of the town. It's a very veteran-oriented town, and I appreciate being a member of the town and a veteran in this town because the people do support us. But my only wish is, and I'll put it on my Santa's wish list, that next year's parades are better attended. So, thank you.
Thank you, Lucian. Anyone else? Pam, come on up.
Pam Townsend, 54 Kimberly Drive, and I echo what Lucian just got done saying, but I'm here for Wreaths Across America today. Got good news. We are basically at 100% at St. Patrick's Cemetery, and we're expanding out to other cemeteries. So that means I need volunteers to help place all those wreaths. And there's no set program. Just show up on December 16th. The ceremony is at 12 p.m. at St. Patrick's Cemetery. Just show up, and right after the ceremony, we start placing the wreaths out there. At St. Pat's, you've heard me say, we've got about 1,700 wreaths to place. So I hope to see a lot of you out there. And if anybody has any questions, they can send me an email at enfieldwaa@yahoo.com. Thank you. Have a great night.
Thank you, Pam. Anyone else for the first time? Walter, come on up.
Short and sweet, I promise. Walter J. Cruzel, 21 Charlie Road. Happy Thanksgiving. Thank you, Enfield, and you're welcome.
Thank you, Walter. Anyone else for the first time? Anyone for the second time? Mr. Young?
George Young, 8 Holly Lane, Enfield, on a completely different subject. Although I don't always agree with her, I would like to take this time to thank Councilor Sakala for her support of the prior town manager, Ellen Zappo-Sasso, and for disclosing the manner in which she was forced into resigning. We condemn bullying in our school system, but the rules seem to be different amongst our council members, so I hope no students have been watching. The town charter, Chapter 4, covers the appointment and removal of the town manager. It states, and I quote, "At the time of appointment, the town managers need to be a resident of the town of Enfield or the state of Connecticut. At the time of appointment, the said town manager need not be a resident of the town of Enfield or the state of Connecticut. The manager shall devote full time to the duties of the office, and during the term of the office shall reside in that town." Are we planning to follow this charter? Was the prior town manager forced to resign, or did she voluntarily resign? Based on what we have been told, she was forced to resign. That sounds like she was removed from office by the new council by a majority vote. The charter states that, and I quote, "At least 30 days before the proposed removal of the town manager, the council shall adopt a resolution stating its intention to remove and reasons thereof, a copy of which shall be served forthwith on the manager, who may within 10 days demand a public hearing, in which event shall not be removed until such public hearing has been held. Such public hearing shall be held within 10 days of the proposed removal date. Upon passage of such a resolution, the council may suspend the said manager from duty, provided the salary of the said manager shall continue until removal from office. In the event of such removal of the manager, shall be given termination pay equivalent to 1 month's salary. In Section 2, it also describes what the council may do in case of resignation, death, or removal. It seems that this council has not followed anything the charter states and has made up its own rules. According to the resignation letter from Ellen, which she published, she is resigning contingent on the agreement that she is given her accrued vacation pay and 90 days of salary, which I presume is a contract done by the council. The council has obligated to the taxpayers more than $50,000 to $60,000 beyond what the charter states should be paid. Now we are paying 2 people for the job for this 90 days. Perhaps the town attorney has a comment regarding this as related to the charter. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay, seeing none, I close public communications. Moving on to councilman communications. Councilman Finger.
Thank you, Mayor. Concerning the two ladies over at 209 and 211, you're in my district. I'm District 3 rep. I will give you a card, and I will be in contact with you. I will get some answers done for you, I think, unless we get some answers done tonight. I do know that Councilor Ludwig is really big on solar farms, not big for them, but against them. So he's coming over, right? So we'll probably, Mike, we should definitely hook up and come over and see him, go over and see him. So we'll definitely help you out with that. All right, thank you. And that's all I have. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Councilman Sakala.
Thank you. A couple of announcements and then a couple of questions. First, on Sunday, November 26th from 11 to 3 is the 14th annual Cookies for Camouflage. It's going to be happening at the American Legion in the Bottom. This is a time where people can bake cookies during their Thanksgiving break or buy them, and Lori Gates and her crew will pack them up, send them overseas to some lucky recipients. So there is information on Facebook, but if you want to try your hand at baking or have some time on your hands, bake some cookies and bring them over to the American Legion on Sunday from 11 to 3. Second announcement is Saturday, December 2nd at Mount Carmel is the Safe Grad Jingle Jam. That is going to be their big auction. So if you have some Christmas shopping you need to do, I would suggest that you come. Doors open at 5:30. Auction starts at 6:30. And thank you to everybody on the council who donated towards the basket that the town council donated. So I appreciate that. Through the mayor to the town manager, I do have a couple of questions. One, I'd like an update. You may not have it tonight, but in the next couple of days on the status for the RFP for the town attorney. We need to get that out as soon as possible because we are running out of time. And we need to... Perfect. So we'd like an update on that. And then the other one would be, again, through the mayor to the town manager, the status of the OPM referral. In the individual or the independent review, it was indicated on pages 57 to 58 that we can send a review over to the Office of Policy and Management, which is OPM, to investigate the BAA's conduct. So I want to know what we're doing and when that's happening. Thanks.
Okay. Councilman Mangini.
Thank you. I want to congratulate the Veterans Council for the wonderful parade. And Lucian, attendance may not have appeared to be great as we hope it will as we grow, but I assure you that those in attendance and those absent for whatever reason they had are very grateful and thankful for all the veterans and for the Veterans Council for putting a great event together. Thank you for that. Pam, I want to say thank you for the Wreaths Across America. It is a tremendous undertaking. I know firsthand when my mouth froze, the first event we had trying to speak. You're doing a dynamic job, and I'm hoping that people will respond to your call for help. I'll be there to help you the best I can. And lastly, I just want to say happy Thanksgiving to everyone. Please be safe. Enjoy the holidays with your family and friends. And just remember what we're thankful for. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Crissati.
Thank you, Mayor. I just want to let everybody know that this Saturday is Small Business Saturday. Come on out and support all of your local business owners throughout the town of Enfield. I know it's a pretty special weekend, but one thing that you have to remember is that we are promoting small businesses here in town, and this is, once again, not only do we want to support them during the holidays, but we should be supporting them year-round. So I just wanted to give that a shout out. Through the mayor to the town manager, in regards to the possibility of a solar. I know that over on Town Farm Road, Verizon does have a telecommunications section there, and I think there might have been some communication in regard to them expanding out there, so I don't know if that's part of what you're possibly talking about. So maybe we can look into that further. I know that I think I did forward something to the office, earlier this week or last week regarding that. Okay, it was something from the Siting Council. So I'm not quite sure if that has anything to do with what they're talking about or not. Okay? And that might be different, but we can look on that. That's the only thing that I can think of offhand in regard to additional solar farms. So that I'm not sure with Mr. Raffia. All right, so we can possibly check that out. Also, over at Enfield High, this Wednesday, there's a career day, and I think maybe some of us might even be attending, but I know that it's something that's good for the students. We've done this in the past, and that's coming up this week. Through the mayor to the town manager, you did send out a couple of emails today that helped answer my questions earlier today, so can't cancel that, but it was all good. Yeah, it was perfect, so, but thank you for those updates that you did give earlier. The only other thing that I just want to mention to everybody is wishing everybody, you and your families, a wonderful Thanksgiving weekend and a safe one. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Nasuda.
Thank you, Mayor. First, I'd like to thank Lucian and Pam for all that they do. They do a lot, so thank you. Also, through the mayor to the town manager, I would like to request a WPCA meeting in December, please. Yes. And also through the mayor to the town attorney, I would like to request an executive session for the update on all pending litigations.
I believe we prepared a list and it should have been forwarded, but it will be tomorrow.
Okay.
All set.
Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Ongire.
Thank you. I just want to thank Barb and Jen for coming out and bringing that information. I actually live on Abbey Road, not too far from you, and I was unaware of that. Also, I did receive some communication from the neighbor that you referred to, and so we'll see if we can't find some answers. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Ludwig.
Two quick things. And again, through the mayor to the town manager and assistant town manager, I know I just want to give people, we are looking into possible tax breaks for farmers, doing some research. So that's one of the key things we've been talking about for the last really year. And so I appreciate you looking into it because I think it's very important to make sure that we have local farming and we sustain it. So I appreciate it. That you don't have to answer. I just know
That's
you're
okay.
looking
Steve
into
will, under his report, make mention of it.
And so with the solar farms, it's very timely. I mean, I think there's really, a number of things here. I mean, for me, I want to also, again, through the mayor to the town manager, I want to see if we can put a moratorium on these. Simsbury was very aggressive in stopping the expansion of solar farms in their town. In fact, they negotiated one of probably the toughest deals in the state when they allowed that one farm in. I think we're at the point now, and I think people need to understand the Siting Council versus local P&Z, which complicates this matter. And again, I've heard the rumors too, unfortunately, in your neck of the woods. So I don't know if it's Verizon, but remember, unfortunately or fortunately, depending on your point of view, there's state subsidies that some of these folks can get to develop these farms. So again, that's your money. It's taxpayer money. You can call it whatever you want. State subsidy is taxpayer money. So you're using taxpayer money on farmland in town. We've already got a few, which is fine. And I think, and certainly one on North Road was very concerning because we talked about it a couple of years ago. We didn't want it, and yet the Siting Council moved forward with it because we weren't timely in our objection. And my understanding of the Siting Council, again, it's a state-run kind of planning and zoning, for lack of a better term. And again, I don't know all the rules and regulations. However, my understanding, the two main points when they get involved, again, sort of where the state sort of supersedes local planning and zoning, where it's a multi-town project, which To my knowledge, we have not had one. Even the one on Town Farm Road is an Enfield project, the one already there. Or it's based on megawattage, which again, I'm not an expert. However, that's the problem, right? And I think if it is, some conversation going to Abbey Road, I think we need to, the council, we need to figure if we can step in. Many, many, many years ago, when I was a young man on the council, and we were doing, someone mentioned the towers. There was no regulations at the time, and the town did step in and put a moratorium so they wouldn't have those towers all over town, and we could develop proper regulations. Something I think we should look at, because I agree we're losing farmland. And the other thing I'd like, again, through the mayor to the town manager, can we order or I offer DEP or through our state reps to do a soil sample at one of these existing farms? Depending on what you believe and what you read, there is conversations that there's seepage from the panels into the ground. So before we start expanding these all over town and ruining what prime farmland we have left, I think we have the right to ask for a soil sample and get some of that reading back. Because again, I'm getting concerned now that because of the subsidies and the way it work, and if they do go through the siting council, it sort of supersedes local planning. However, we can force a public hearing. We can have influence on it. And so and my other suggestion is before anything go through, I respectfully ask again to the mayor, to the town manager, that we have the siting council here, if they're engaged, that they should be having a public hearing here so folks, the neighbors can show up. I'll be coming to your home. I'm looking forward to seeing the back of your property. Because I agree with you. I think this is out of control. It's a few in town is fine, but now we're having them all over town, and unfortunately out in really Abbey Road area, where again our farmland is, and again not knowing if there is actually contamination in that land. And I think we've had a few in town now. They've been in there for a few years. Let's ask DEP or whoever it is to come in, do a soil sample before we start expanding these all over town. And I agree. I think enough's enough. I mean, it's a beautiful area where you folks live, and it's one of our. I mean, the farms are beautiful out there, and I agree with you 100%. I wouldn't want that in my backyard. Period. I mean, and by the way, we want farmland. Okay, we got to have local, sustainable farming. We have to be able to survive as a community. So I know I offered like 3 or 4 things to the mayor, to the town manager. Hopefully, but I think it's a priority, and hopefully we can be quick because I'm hearing a lot of different. Again, I don't like to respond to rumors, but I do think where there's smoke, there's fire here. So again, thank you. Appreciate it.
Councilman Pisner, Deputy Mayor Pisner.
Oh, well, that's okay. Okay, so first, Jamie left. I did want to thank her for coming and explaining what the juniors do. They're a great organization, and I encourage anyone out there that wants to get involved. If you didn't get Jamie's information, please reach out to me, and I will forward it to her, because they do great things, and it's so hard getting volunteers, as we all know. So if somebody listening out there in TV land is interested, just reach out to me. Cookies for camouflage. I'm a big, big supporter of Lori. I don't bake cookies this time of the year. However, I do send a check for postage. So that's another way you can help, because it costs a lot of money to package these cookies and send them out. And she's always looking for a financial donation. So please help her that way. Wreaths Across America, Pam, you know I'm there. I'm looking forward to the buy one, get one free. Everybody go out there when that comes. Please publicize it. I always buy my wreaths at that time because you're buying one for your loved one and the other one goes to a veteran who doesn't have somebody buying them a wreath. So please go on there. And I think this year you said they're $17. It's still a bargain. Please go out there and do it. Our veterans mean so much to us. Number 5, Artisan. You mentioned small business. Great way to support our local small businesses over at the former Nathan Hale School, and I think over at the mall as well. We have craft fairs going on Saturday and Sunday. Great time to support our local craft people. Great place to pick up holiday things. I've bought Christmas ornaments in the past, candles, whatever. Again, it's the one over at the former Nathan Hale is Saturday, Sunday from 10 to 3. I'm not sure about the one at the mall. I think it's the same thing. I had another thing here. Torchlight Parade. Hope to see everybody out. I had a blast last year handing out can canes. Note to myself, I have to buy more candy canes this year because I ran out very quickly. And lastly, just happy Thanksgiving to everyone. Have a safe, happy, healthy, and just eat. You know, eat the cookie. it's okay to eat the cookie, okay? So, thank you.
Okay, I will go next. I had the privilege with several other council members to join the veterans last Saturday in the Veterans Day Parade. Senator Blumenthal, Lieutenant Governor Susan Bisowitz, State Senator John Kissel, and Representative Carol Hall all joined us and spent the morning with us and the veterans. And I just can't thank the veterans enough because they're the ones who made our freedom possible. It was truly a great day, and I really want to thank Lucian and Pam for your dedication to all the veterans in our community. It's commendable. Today, we were honored to have Congressman Courtney and Catherine Marks from the Small Business Administration join us at the request of the North Central Chamber of Commerce on a small business walk, something along what Councilman Crisati was talking about. It was a great day. We walked some businesses on 190. We started at the Growth Company, and at Christmas time, the place is packed. If you need something to decorate the outside of your house, that's the place. Then we continued on to Darley's Boutique, which is down the street on Hazard Avenue. She can help you finish the inside of your house. And then we went to One Piece at a Time. They refinish antique furniture, and they also have some very unique pieces for sale. So they can help finish that decorating you want to do. And then we followed up with Quantum Dreams. So if you can't sleep, she can help. If you want to quit smoking, she can help. And if you need to lose the weight from the holidays after all this, she can help with that also. Again, I want to thank the Chamber for continuing to help promote our small and local businesses, Congressman Courtney and Catherine Marks for taking the time out of their day to visit with some of our small businesses today. I really appreciate it. Next is on Election Day, a gentleman named Rick Maggio came up to me and gave me something and said it was a gift for me. As a council member, we cannot accept gifts. So I am going to pass this along to the council, and I'm going to ask, with the council's permission, that we hang this in the back of the council chambers because we can look at this and it reminds us why we do it. It's for the love of our country and our town. And it's very frustrating at times. You know, everybody knows it, and we just look up and see this. It's absolutely beautiful, and I'm proud that he gave it to me, and I want to share it with our community. So if you guys are okay with it, we could put it on the back wall of the council. And I want to thank Rick Maggio for doing this, and I know he does this for all of our first responders, police officers. Anytime there's a tragedy, he donates one of these, and I think it's a great cause. And the last thing would be is to Bob. Bob, I never received the keys to the mayor's mansion. Do you have them, or because I mean, I'm still wondering the benefit of being here. So, or Mike, do you still have them?
I still have them.
He still has them.
I don't give them up.
All right, that's all I have. Thank you.
Good evening. I have a few items to report. We've had a busy week. We will be sending some dates out to the council to do what we have done traditionally, at least when I was here and before, to have a council orientation, goal setting, and then a tour of town facilities. So we'll send some dates out for Saturday morning when it's usually done and see what's convenient for the most of you. We've also done over the years a orientation that the town attorney's office has performed, and it sort of brings you up to speed on freedom of information, the charter, obligations, pitfalls. Mark reached out to Maria Elsden, who's retired, and she has said that she would love to come back and do that with him at no cost to the town. She was here for many, many years, and she's very good at it, and she reaches out to other experts in their field to give an orientation. We hope to do that again. We always had done it with the land use boards, and we'll look to be doing that again sometime in December. Luckily, we are moving along. Our troubled properties, blighted properties committee has been active in my absence, and they, from time to time, foreclose and get properties for the town to dispose of. It's difficult for us to do it, and we had a realtor on call. So we've dusted it off. I talked in leadership. We would like for your consideration at the next meeting to go out to RFP to get a realtor on call. And what that means is we have somebody to talk to about actually listing it. It doesn't cost us. They get their commission. We'll do it competitive. Last time there was some concern. It was kind of a short window. We have some fine realtors on the council. We'll ask them where do realtors go to look, and we'll post it there. And instead of 2 weeks, we'll do 4 weeks so we get some good people. They not only sell property, but when we were purchasing various properties, they give us an idea of what they're worth and the appraisal. So it's a good resource, and really it doesn't cost us anything. So we'll be doing that for the December meeting. In regard to the RFP for the town attorney, at leadership again, I've asked for certain information that they're going to be requesting from you. We want to put it down. It's a search committee, and we'll have a meeting, an executive session at the next council meeting. The reason being, over the years, and I've recommended it, it's for your consideration, law is a very specialized area now. So we have a town attorney. We always had labor counsel that we used. A lot of them have retired, but that's a special area. So I've asked you to consider doing an RFP for labor counsel that we do not as a retainer, but at an hourly rate. And then also Steve is going to check. We were very conservative. They haven't changed, I think, the yearly retainer for the town attorney since I was sitting there. Other communities, much smaller ones, pay more. So you're going to have a little homework to do. What do you want to pay for the retainer? Do you want to do an RFP for a town attorney and labor? And then what would the hourly rate for litigation be? So they're going to have the RFPs prepared. Next meeting, we'll fill in the blanks. Likewise, we'll go out. And again, we're going to find out from the attorneys where they look for jobs. I just don't want to put it in the waste money in the JI and the Hartford Courant and do it for 2 weeks. We really got to go out there, and I think we'll do it for a 4 weeks, and that's what leadership I advise. So I want us to get a robust number of people to apply. Last time I was here, we only got a handful, and a lot of the applicants were large firms, which are very, very expensive. So we're working on that. We're going to do 2 updates. I was requested at Leadership and Public Works. Donald Nunes will be here with presentations at the next meeting on Powder Hollow. The update where we are, what the funding is, how you wish to proceed on that project. It's been funded, they have gotten quotes, and it's up to you to continue the project. I will just state, if you ever decide to discontinue a project, you do it much the way you approve one, in public with a vote of the council. So if any changes to be made, that would be for your consideration, but we'll have a full update at the next meeting. Likewise, Higgins Park, which I'm so thrilled to see all the number of children using the basketball court, people walking on the walking path, and those at the playscape. It's just heartening, and I commend all of you. I started some of it, Ellen finished some of it, but there are some things that need to be concluded. There's funding for most of it, but again, there will be a presentation by Mr. Nunes in regard to the band shell and the electrical, parking, next door with the probate court, outdoor bathrooms, which I know are close to the heart of Ms. Sakala. So let's get that done. I think it's been out there for a while. We'll get some direction and have resolutions so we can resolve that. There's going to be 3 sub-reports because they're not on the agenda by the town attorney, Mr. Belinda. We're going to bring up, because I was asked at Leadership, in regard to the Lamagna Strand property. When I left, the buildings were standing. I'm glad to see there's green grass. There's been action. Mark is going to give a little legal update as to where we stand. Christy's going to give us a little background as to what the vision was, what we've done, and other options for the future. Because at the next meeting, the developer that you signed a purchase and sale agreement with needs to apply for CIF funds. I think it's about $15 million, and they have a deadline in which to do it. But the council has to approve it. You will hear her presentation, and then at the next meeting, you decide how you would like to proceed on that project as well. A couple of things. Mr. Young asked, I missed you, Mr. Young. Welcome back. We'll work with you as we always do to get you the information. I just want the public and our folks at home to know he was right. I did, in my tenure, want us to go to referendum on the DPW, and I can't remember all of the years whether I was town attorney at the time or sitting here, but as John can tell you, we were under penalty of a sword tip from the DEP to upgrade that facility. We were facing fines, if I'm not wrong, and John can correct me, of $500,000 a day because we were in violation of almost every state and federal mandate when it comes to water pollution control. So we had to do it. I did a presentation. I'm going to make sure it's back up on the manager website. We gave a complete history of all of the meetings, all of the work that you did, and with your hats on as Water Pollution Control Authority, all of the thoughtfulness that went into it, why you chose bills as opposed to keeping it part of the tax base, which I would have been inclined to leave it that way, but we were advised otherwise, and it wasn't my decision. So anyway, we'll have that information for you coming up. So without further ado, I'm going to ask Mark. Did you have an update, Mark, or are you set?
Well, just I'm going to touch base on a couple of things. Mr. Young mentioned. Oh, sorry. It's been a while since I sat up here. Well, actually last week, but. Yeah.
He's getting older. I hired him 30 years ago.
Yeah, 30 years ago. Yeah, we were, 20 years old back
Brown
then.
hair,
Yeah,
more
hair. Yeah. Mr. Young mentioned about the town attorney residency requirement. That provision, if you read the charter, it talks about shall and may. It's not a mandatory provision. It's not really enforceable to force the town manager to live in Enfield, just so you know that. And with regard to severance packages, that can be negotiated in a contract if they want to. That's, like I said, I think Mr. Young was addressing if a manager is terminated as opposed to resigned. I'm not familiar with the Ellen's contract. I mean, at the top of my head, so that's where I think what that came from.
We try to answer things if we have the answer. We don't want to give misinformation, but I hate for people to have to wait. And I think you're correct. From what I know, I wasn't here. I'll just tell you that fateful evening 2 years ago when I left, I received no severance. I didn't request it, nor did I request it this time, just so we are clear. Now, Mr. Belinda, you had a couple items.
Just to elaborate further on the RFP, I just updated it. It's locked and loaded. We're going to just meet with council in executive session and apprise them on which way to go. I have some legal fees benchmarking from other towns, 9 other towns, so I want to apprise you of that before we send it out. But that's ready. It's almost imminent, ready to go. Second issue I wanted to discuss was thank you, Councilor Pisner, for sending me that information on the tax abatement for farms for local produce farmers in Glastonbury. I started to do some research on that in this very busy week we had. And it looks like Glastonbury was hit hard during this past spring, summer with flooding, and they wanted to give them some relief. And that's something they came up with. But we can explore that and see if something can work here for the town of Enfield.
All right, and I would ask Christy Koistinen, who is our Economic Development Specialist, to come up. She's really been wearing 2 hats. We have an absent or an opening for a Economic Development Coordinator or Director. That's an important position. We are doing interviews, and we'll get you some help, but in the interim, she's doing both jobs, and she has a little presentation on those 2 or 3 items. I think she's also going to give an update on the train station, which is near and dear to all of our hearts.
Yes, so good evening, everyone. As Chris said, my name is Christy Koistinen. I'm a Community Development Specialist here in the Office of Economic and Community Development. And so tonight, like Chris said, I'm going to give a very high-level overview of, and quickly kind of bring you up to speed on a little history of the former Strand-Lamagna property and where it stands today. So on the screen right now, I'm going to take you back to early 2021. Our office was accepted into the CBI Municipal Assistance Program, which is the Connecticut Brownfields Initiative. And this is through UConn. It has recently changed names, but you guys don't need more acronyms in your brain. So at this point, long story short, we were able to work with 2 UConn students, and were able to utilize their time and their minds, and they were able to review the history and the conditions of the surrounding areas in this these parcels and these properties, and they ultimately created a developments package or a developers package, and a part of this package includes the redevelopment idea that you are currently looking at on the left. So this was created by the 2 students from UConn. And after their review, so we'll start over to the left. I believe that is a parking garage. Don't quote me on that. I couldn't find it in the write-up, but I believe that is a parking garage. It also utilizes the town parking lot, which is 16 Pleasant Street. So technically on the west side of that picture. And then the main focus is the white building, which after their review, their redevelopment plan suggested a 4-story mixed-use building. So each of the floors having about 11,500 square feet of space. So for their rendition, they suggested for the first floor, there would be 5,000 square feet of restaurant space, 1,000 square feet of a coffee shop, and then 4 different offices totaling 4,000 square feet. And if you do the math quickly, that's not 11,500. So there is about 1,500 square feet of like the lobby, elevators, utilities, and stuff like that. And then regarding the second, third, and fourth floors, so they actually created 3 different scenarios with the amount of housing units, but they're all pretty similar, really just 1 bedroom versus 2 bedroom, that kind of stuff. But ultimately, they came up with about 40 to 44 units in total in those top 3 levels. And so that is about 14-ish units on each floor. And then obviously to the north, it was just, they have just a green space. So that is the Yukon kind
And
of.
the reason I, not to interrupt, but I have a habit, I apologize in advance. This is what I had left because the council at that time had wanted the mixed use. And there's still a real concern about parking. We're going to go to now what we have a purchase and sale agreement. Mark will tell you the legal status of it. And I told you by the next meeting we have to join in or not with applying for the funding that they need from the state. But parking is a very, very troubling issue there. That's why we like this, and we didn't pay UConn to do it, but this addressed it between the municipal and a parking garage. And she'll now tell you what you signed a purchase and sale agreement for and what's pending to be at the site now, subject to you approving the funding next meeting.
Right, so we can go to the next slide. Perfect. So fast forward to spring of 2022, we went out to RFD, so a request for development for the site, and began working with Impact Residential. And as Mark will touch on a little bit, Impact did go in front of our Planning and Zoning Commission last Thursday, which was the 16th, and they use in their packet, they have this visual, so I thought I would grab that. And from this photo, it's the perspective of standing on North Main Street. And if you look to your right, that is the Civil War monument. So you're looking north. So does everyone have their bearings in the picture? Okay, perfect. All right, so in this project has officially been named Union Square. And it will consist of those 2 structures. So the building on the left, they are considering that building A, and on the right, building B. In building A, so the one on the left, they're suggesting 25 housing units, and then in building B, they're suggesting about 45 housing units at this point. Yeah, so and they did do a great, thorough presentation at the PZC meeting on Thursday, and you can find that on the Town of Enfield's YouTube channel. I highly recommend taking a look. And if you guys are short on time, it's at the hour and 6-minute mark. That's when they start their presentation. So, you're welcome. And so currently we are working at, like Chris had mentioned, we're currently working with one of our on-call grant writers for a CIF grant application with Impact. And CIF stands for Community Investment Fund. And it is a grant program that is administered by the Connecticut Department of Economic and Community Development. And this program has been created to promote economic and community development in the municipalities where the project is located. And it is also to consistently and systematically advance fair, just, and impartial treatment of all individuals, including individuals who belong to underserved and marginalized communities. So currently, this program is in their 4th round, with applications due on December 15th. So a part of this application process is to have the town council approve the execution and the filing of the application with the Department of Economic and Community Development. So as Chris said, please keep this in mind. There will be a resolution put before you all at the next meeting, so December 4th. And ultimately, we'll need your approval to proceed with the application.
Thank you. And then lastly, just a little, I know you had a presentation in October, but just again, I wanted Christy to remind everybody where we are with the train station. Christy?
Yes, so I was going to say, I mean, I know I'm not the only one that has lost count on how many times people have asked me, so what's happening with the train station? And in this case, I'm not sure if everyone was aware, but there was a presentation in October on the 4th where the Department of Transportation was actually here in the Town Council chambers. And they did give a presentation on some of the updates. And in their presentation, they did review the anticipated schedule, which is currently on the screen. So I'll just run through this quickly for you. So 30% design that has been completed. The next step is the final design, which is going to be complete summer of 2024. And then they will go out to bid and awards will be made in the winter of 2025. At that point, that's when construction of the rail and the bridge is going to begin, and that should be completed by spring of 2027. And the construction of the station, the platform, and all the site work, that will begin summer of 2025, and it should be complete by fall of 2027. And during that time, that's when construction of the Main Street roadway improvements will be completed as well. So ultimately, we're looking at train station by fall of 2027, which is exciting to finally have a date set with it. So,
And like I used to say, all aboard Enfield. So we look forward to that. Thank you, Christy.
of course,
Thank you, Christy.
have a wonderful Thanksgiving, everyone.
You too.
Well, I think the other matters, as you know, is my custom. I'll take them under advisement. We have a staff meeting tomorrow, and I'll get answers to the questions. My custom is always sharing, as you've seen. Today, I share with all councilors, so we're all on the same page, and we all know where we're going. I'd be remiss. I have to tell you, this last week went by like that. Truthfully, I feel like Rip Van Winkle the last 2 years. I can't believe it. I feel like I didn't leave, but I did. And I would just tell you, I'm not a guy who looks in the rearview mirror. Steve reminds me that there's a reason the front windshield is a lot bigger than the rear windshield, because you want to be looking forward or you're going to get in an accident if you keep on looking behind. But I'll tell you, my dad taught me when I became a lawyer when I was 25. He said, Chris, big decisions, sleep on it. If you have a letter, put it in the drawer and do it the next day. And normally, I followed that all of my 30 years. But I'll just have to say this. COVID was a taxing situation, as Mike mentioned the other day. People, I think, forget things. But it was taxing and hurricanes. And that particular night, my Irish got up. And I'm telling you, if I had a time machine and went back, I don't know what the result would be. The result probably would be the same, but the process would have been different. So I want to tell you, I give you my commitment, as I always have, and to the people at home. I will work tirelessly on behalf of everyone in Enfield with all of you. Steve once, it was a kind of comical, he was here and he said, Chris, he's like a racehorse. Well, I ain't that anymore, but I'll be a workhorse. So with that, let's move forward.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chris.
One, I don't want to forget Mark, he had a couple of items, and then we can move on.
Yeah, just to update you, as Christy did gave you most of the update on Impact Residential. Just so you know, the contract, the purchase and sale was signed on July 20th of 2023, and IRD, as Christy said, they had their went to the PCC for special use permit. I believe it was last week, the 18th of November, and their second hearing will be on the 7th of December with the Planning and Zoning Commission. Was there anything else you wanted?
I think that's it.
Okay.
All set? Okay, thank you. Moving on to reports of special committees of the council. Councilman Pisner, Deputy Mayor Pisner.
Okay, so through the mayor to the town manager, Veterans Council. And I did send you out an email, and I know you've been crazy busy, but I was asked when they thought they were going to be able to get their check from the budget. I know we approved some money for the Veterans Council. If you could look into that, they'd be grateful. The other thing is, one of the veterans there mentioned to me, and I think he said he mentioned it to Mike as well. There's a tree now in front of the monument on Main Street, in front of the monument on Main Street there. Civil War monument. I'm sorry. Thank you. I guess there's like one lone tree there. And a veteran came up to me and asked if we could possibly have DPW go and look at it. I drive by there all the time when I go to St. Pat's, and honestly, I've not noticed it, but it is something that they noticed. So if we could just have somebody look at it and make sure that it's not, he says it's looking out of place now. Just have somebody check it. Thank you so much.
Anyone else? Councilman Ludwig?
Just a clarifying question from governance to Councilor Sakala. The OPM, is that from the governance committee, the request? Because we never did vote on that.
Correct. We didn't vote on it,
Right.
but we can do it. And the council themselves can do it.
Right, but the council never voted on it, so there shouldn't have been no request to OPM. So I just want to clarify that with
Didn't.
you. Right,
I
right.
want it to happen.
Right, so that's got to go through governance, and it's got to come through the council for a vote. That was part of the recommendations, which I want to say publicly I'm against. So that should be, it never got a governance, and it can, when we have our governance meeting, we can talk about it. Want to be clear on that.
Thank you for the clarification.
Okay. Anyone else? Moving on. There is no unfinished business today. New business, 12A, the consent agenda, there's none. 12B, appointments of the town council. Number 1 is the Board of Assessment Appeals. The term of Donna Dubanowski, R, expired 12/31/2022. Reappointment will be until 12/31/2025. Do I have
So
a
moved.
motion? Motion's made. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion's made and seconded. Any discussion on the motion? Councilman Mangini.
With all respect, Mr. Mayor and members of our council and to the people of town of Enfield, I'm going to make a blanket statement here. Going forward with this particular council term, it is imperative that we vote individuals onto different boards and committees that have sincere desire to move Enfield forward. There are individuals that are looking for reappointment, that are looking for appointment, that I have observed and do not believe that the intent is purely to move Enfield forward, and rather some individuals may have their own agendas. So in some cases, I'll be voting no. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Mangini. Councilman Sakala.
Thank you. So in terms of this appointment, I will say that the definition of insanity, or if you spell it correctly, insanity, would be putting Ms. Dubanowski back on the Board of Assessment Appeal. And I won't actually I'll even say anybody who's currently on the Board of Assessment Appeal, to put them back. Absolute insanity.
Okay, anyone else? Councilman Ludwig.
I just want to make, again, a general statement, too. If I do not support someone, whether it be a Republican, Democrat, Independent, on a board or commission, I'm just going to simply vote no. I don't know the value. It's not my job to judge your personality, to judge your expertise. I'm just simply going to vote no. Or I'm going to vote yes. Simple as that.
Anyone else? Seeing none, roll call.
Councilor Sakala.
Against.
Councilor Crisati.
Against.
Councilor Finger.
Donna Dubanowski.
Councilor Hendrickson.
4.
Councilor Ludwig.
4.
Councilor Mangini.
Against.
Councilor Nasuda.
4.
Mayor Nelson.
Donna Dubanowski.
Deputy Mayor Pisner.
Donna Dubanowski.
And Councilor Ungary.
4.
7 members in favor, 3 against.
Congratulations. Moving on to the Patriot Award Committee, a vacancy exists for the Veterans Council member. Recommendation is Pamela Townsend, Republican, until 7/31/2025. Motion's made and seconded. Are there any other nominations? No. Okay. Any comments? Councilman Pisner.
I can think of nobody better, especially being the former winner of the Patriot Award. You do a bang-up job for our veterans and for our town, so I will fully support you on that.
Any other comments? All I'm going to say is the council doesn't agree on a lot. Unanimous, and everybody's on board. You are definitely the right person for the seat. And again, I thank you for everything you do for our community, both of you. Thank you. Any other comments? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Councilor Sakala.
4.
Councilor Crisati.
4.
Councilor Finger.
Pamela Townsend.
Councilor Hendrickson.
4.
Councilor Ludwig.
4.
Councilor Mangini.
Pam Townsend.
Councilor Nasuda.
4.
Mayor Nelson.
Pam Townsend.
Deputy Mayor Pisner.
PM Townsend.
And Councilor Ungary.
4.
10 members in favor, none against.
Okay, moving on. We are on 12-3, Zoning Board of Appeals. A vacancy exists to the resignation of Timothy Neville, D. Replacement would be until 1/1/2026. Replacement would be the recommended Richard Stroney.
So moved.
Second.
Motion's made and seconded. Are there any other people, nominations? Okay, seeing none, are there any comments or concerns? Okay, roll call.
Councilor Sakala.
4.
Councilor Crisati.
4.
Councilor Finger.
Richard Stroney.
Councilor Hendrickson.
4.
Councilor Ludwig.
4.
Councilor Mangini.
Richard Stroini.
Councilor Nasuda.
4.
Mayor Nelson.
Richard Stroney.
Deputy Mayor Pisner.
Rich Stroney.
And Councilor Ungary.
4.
10 members in favor, none against.
Excellent. Okay, moving on to C, resolution to transfer funds for public safety click it or ticket grant. I see the chief is with us tonight and the deputy chief. Come on up.
Mayor and council members, we do this every year, but I felt with new councilors and for new residents, it's important to hear from the chief. And also, I'll tell you, in past years, Enfield has been the recipient and won awards on both of these following items for #1 enforcement in the state. And we, in 1 year on the DUI, we received our command vehicle that was worth about $250,000 because of the fine work of the Enfield Police Department. So these are very worthwhile. They help keep our streets safe, and I wanted the chief to be able to address it and answer any questions you might have.
Questions for the chief?
Well, Chief, you want to give a few words on it, and then we'll open it up to questions.
Thank you, sir. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. As you have seen in the past, both of these are grant-funded, fully grant-funded, 100% reimbursable to the town. The click it or ticket grant period, there are two. One is coming up shortly, and the other one will be closer into the springtime. We use the money on an overtime basis, 4-hour shifts, set locations, $79,137.36. The DUI enforcement period allows both roving patrols and spot checks, $9,448.86. There was a question last year, as I recall, from Councilor Sakala about whether or not the state did in fact reimburse, and we deliberately went and did the double check in anticipation of the possibility of that question and confirming that yes, there was 100% reimbursement as was promised. It was just pleasant to see that it was delivered upon without issue.
Thank you. Questions for the chief? Councilman Ludwig.
Welcome.
Good evening,
Curious,
sir.
How many waves are there?
For click it or ticket, there are two waves. One is an 8-day period. The second one is about a 19-day period. The DUI spot check money, roving patrol and spot check money runs continuously through September 2024.
So this would be for our current fiscal year.
Correct. And I'm sorry, I've taken the liberty of taking both items that are in front of
No,
you
that's fine. Absolutely.
and
Fine.
wrapping them together. Yes, both would be the tail end of the DUI enforcement money would spin over into the next fiscal year.
Okay.
The majority of both is within this fiscal year.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Councilman Finger.
Good evening, Chief.
Good evening, sir.
So a question for you is, I know in the past when we got this grant money, we had to add extra dispatchers to the room. Are we still doing that? And is that part of that grant part of their overtime?
So we do add extra dispatchers in when the total volume of officers and calls for service warrant it. It is not warranted by the number of officers that will be added in on these occasions, with the exception of a spot check night. If there's a spot check night, we would add in an extra dispatcher.
So
In other words, DUI patrols might be 1 or 2 extra cars going out in addition to the number that are out. That would not necessitate an extra dispatcher.
Okay.
A spot check night, because of the volume of officers, likely would.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Anyone else? Okay, so this resolution is to transfer funds from Public Safety Click It or Ticket Grant. The current Click It or Ticket Grant has been pre-approved for the town of Enfield. The police department wants to provide seatbelt enforcement for the November and May waves of Click It or Ticket enforcement campaign. The grant is reimbursed to the town at 100% twice a grant period. The money will replenish the overtime accounts for the cost of the Click It or Ticket event. There will be no impact on the town budget. Recommendations that the Town of Enfield Town Council approves the attached resolution of authorization. Certification, I hereby certify that the above stated funds are available as of 11/15/2023 by John A. Wilcox, Director of Finance.
So moved.
Second.
Motion's made and seconded. Okay. Roll call, please.
Counselor Sakala.
4.
Counselor Crisati.
4.
Counselor Finger.
4.
Counselor Hendrickson.
4.
Counselor Ludwig.
4.
Counselor Mangini.
4.
Counselor Nasuda.
4.
Mayor Nelson.
4.
Deputy Mayor Pisner.
4.
And Counselor Ungary.
4.
10 members in favor and none against.
Okay, we're moving on. Resolution to transfer funds for public safety DUI enforcement grant. Acceptance of the 23-24 DUI enforcement grant, 100% reimbursement of funds spent. The police department would like to provide DUI patrols immediately upon approval and respectfully request that this resolution be approved. There will be no impact on the budget. The recommendation that the Town of Enfield Council approves this transfer. I hereby certify that the above stated funds are available as of 11/15/2023 by John A. Wilcox, Director of Finance. Be it resolved that in accordance with Chapter 6, Section 8F of the Town Charter, the following transfer is hereby made. From DUI Enforcement Program, $79,138, to DUI Enforcement Program. Date prepared 11/13/2023 by Sergeant Mayer.
So moved.
Second.
Motion's made and seconded. Questions or comments? I think we covered them all. Chief, you're good? Okay, roll call.
Counselor Sakala.
4.
Counselor Crisati.
4.
Counselor Finger.
4.
Counselor Hendrickson.
4.
Counselor Ludwig.
4.
Counselor Mangini.
4.
Counselor Nasuda.
4.
Mayor Nelson.
4.
Deputy Mayor Pisner.
4.
And Counselor Ungary.
4.
10 members in favor, none against.
Okay, we're moving on to 12E. Resolution to amend the Social Services Caseworker job description. The department caseworker is retiring December 29, 2023, after 24 years of service. The job description has not been revised since 1999. The proposed revision incorporates the new department structure, roles, essential functions, and minimum qualifications to allow for greater equity. There is no impact to the budget. It is recommended that the Town Council approve the resolution for the revised job description. Resolved that in accordance with Chapter 7, Section 2 of the Town Charter in the Town of Enfield, the council does hereby adopt the revised job description for social services caseworker. Date prepared 11/14/2023, prepared by Steve Belinda, Assistant Town Manager and Director for Human Resources.
So moved.
Motion's made and seconded. We have the job description in our packet and the changes.
Steve can answer any questions. He can give a brief
Councilman
overview.
Ludwig.
Mike, maybe
Go
want me to
ahead,
just-
yeah.
And then maybe it'll answer your question or not, but.
So, as is our protocol, whenever someone is retiring, especially after a tenure of 24 years, we always look at the job description to see if it's still up to date and adequate. And as you can see, there's new responsibilities, and there's responsibilities that are no longer exist in this job description. For example, food stamps. That's the state took that away. They take care of that now. So the last thing we want to do is go out to the marketplace with an obsolete job description out there and advertise for a position that half the responsibilities don't even exist. So that's why we come to you to update it with the most current and accurate information so we can get the best candidates to apply for this position.
Thank you. Councilman Ludwig.
Real quick, first of all, we wish the individual who's worked 24 years well. Hope they're doing well in their retirement. Steve, sorry, a technical question. And the experiencing training, you kind of, gray out or line out human services. Social, you just leave social, which is fine. But then, you also, there's a contradiction where you can get a associate's degree in human and social. So I'm just saying, should the word human stay in there, human and social services? Sorry, but again, I am a stickler when it comes to this stuff.
I'm remembering that.
I'm just saying, I'm not because there is two different degrees, unless I know I'm old, but.
Well, I will defer to the Director of Social Services, who is in the audience here, if she
Cindy,
wants to
would you
come
like
up.
to come up and address that, please? That's why we had her. That's why we had her present in
Cindy
case.
will have the answer in
In case
5
Mike had a question.
How you doing? Good to see you. Welcome.
Good to see you. Short answer is it is kind of one and the same, and the recommendation is to make it aligned with the department title
Okay.
of social services.
Fair enough.
versus
I'll
human
defer to you, but I
services.
just want to make sure we weren't, excluding someone just because of what their social, their
It
degrees.
would not exclude anyone.
Again, we wish the individual well who worked 24 years.
Aaron Tynan has
Thank you
done
very
a
much.
phenomenal job.
Yep. Thank you.
Thank you, Cindy. Thank you.
That's an easy one.
Any other questions or concerns? Okay, roll call.
Counselor Sakala.
4.
Counselor Crisati.
4.
Counselor Finger.
4.
Counselor Hendrickson.
4.
Counselor Ludwig.
4.
Counselor Mangini.
4.
Counselor Nasuda.
4.
Mayor Nelson.
4.
Deputy Mayor Pisner.
4.
And Counselor Ungary.
4.
10 members in favor, none against.
Okay, we're moving on to 12F. FY 2023 year-end transfers. This is a housekeeping transfer to remove all negative budgeted items from the fiscal year 2023 year. This is an annual transfer request. Most of the accounts in this transfer are salary and benefit accounts and are caused by the settling of union contracts and benefit elections changes made by employees. This transfer also includes some increases for utility expenses, which increased significantly in the fiscal year 23. These increases are offset by budget surpluses in other budget accounts caused by vacancies, benefit election changes, and budgeted for expired union contracts in a separate account. This transfer will not increase the overall budget for the town of Enfield. There will be no impact to the town budget from this transfer. Recommendations that the town council approve this transfer request. I hereby certify that the above stated funds are available as of 11/15/2023 by John A. Wilcox, Director of Finance. Be it resolved that in accordance with Chapter 6, Section 8F of the Town Charter, the following transfer is hereby made. Motion's made and seconded, and we have all the transfers.
And while important, it is housekeeping, but if there are any questions, I think it was a very well-written memo and explains it. But Mr. Wilcox is here in case you need him, and he will come up.
Can we have John come up?
Certainly.
Just 2 questions, if you don't mind.
John Wilcox, Director of Finance.
Welcome, John.
What can I do for you?
How you doing?
Councilman Ludwig.
So if you, an attachment A from left to right, the left is a revenue account or revenue accounts, and you're moving over to another revenue account, is that correct?
No.
Okay, thank you.
What we have on here are, the left side is the account that will be having its budget increased. The right side is the account that will have its budget decreased due to the fact that actual amounts were less than.
And so when we see the budget next year and we see adopted 23, 22, 23, it's just round numbers. Say it was $1 million, it'll be $1 million. It won't be adjusted, correct?
The grand total of the budget, yes,
Right.
that's correct.
Okay. And just curious, again, I think we on the salaries for the overtime and the school security, where is that? What fund is that in? What account? Excuse me, what account is that in?
That is in,
Because that's not in the overtime account, correct? If I remember during the budget, that question came up.
for 24.
For whatever this adjustment is. Is this 22, 23 or?
This is 22, 23.
Right.
And I believe it was in that separate, we call them organization.
Right, yeah.
It's like a separate division. And it
So
was
we're
there.
just moving money into that
Yeah.
account?
Right.
Okay, got it. So just curious, there was no money in that account prior? If I'm not thinking about it correctly?
In this particular account, there, I have to look back to last year, but I believe that it's correct.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Anyone else? Okay.
Thank you, John.
Thank you, John.
Thank you, John.
Roll call?
Counselor Sakala. Counselor Crisati.
4.
Counselor Finger.
Abstain.
Counselor Hendrickson.
4.
Counselor Ludwig.
4.
Counselor Mangini.
4.
Counselor Nasuda.
4.
Mayor Nelson.
4.
Deputy Mayor Pisner.
4.
And Counselor Ungary.
4.
9 members in favor, none against, and 1 abstention.
Okay, thank you. Moving on to G. Resolution authorizing the town manager to enter into an agreement with the state of Connecticut and the North Thompsonville Fire District concerning the fire suppression standpipe system. There is no budget impact. The recommendation is to authorize the execution of this agreement with the state of Connecticut and the North Thompsonville Fire District. Be it resolved that the Enfield Town Council does hereby authorize the town manager, Christopher Bromson, to sign an agreement with the North Thompsonville Fire District for the duties related to the master agreement with the state of Connecticut for the maintenance of the standpipe fire suppression system. Be it further resolved that the Enfield Town Council does hereby authorize the town manager, Christopher Bromson, to sign the master agreement with the state of Connecticut for the maintenance of the standpipe fire suppression system. Date prepared 11/7/23, prepared by Stephen Belinda, Assistant Town Manager.
So moved.
Motion's made and seconded.
It looks complicated, but this is something we've done since 2007, been reviewed by the town attorney. I reached out to Chief Earl Provenci, who would have been here, but he's at an arson seminar. And it's standard, basically, in layman's terms, and they'll tease me at the chief's meeting if I botch it, but instead of having to run your hoses all the way down the highway for a car fire or an electric battery, this is a system that they tie into underneath. It's only done at this one exit so far, but they tie in, and it is very beneficial in firefighting. So we ask that you support it, as you always have.
Councilman Mangini.
Thank you. Through our mayor to town manager. So if we've had this longstanding agreement, it has to be renewed every year, or are we just asking for authorization this year?
I don't know when they last did it.
We've done it in '07, I think it was again in '16, and again this year. Generally, it's 10 years, but it's DOT. They made some minor changes to the agreement.
And according to Earl, they will not contract with individual fire districts. It has to be the municipality. So we do it on their behalf.
Yeah, and then we do an agreement with the fire district where they agree to all the obligations.
Right. It's no cost or obligation to the town, but we have to do it in order they are eligible for the funding and the assistance from the
All
state.
right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Anyone else? Okay, seeing none, roll call.
Counselor Sakala.
4.
Counselor Crisati.
4.
Counselor Finger.
4.
Counselor Hendrickson.
4.
Counselor Ludwig.
4.
Counselor Mangini.
4.
Counselor Nasuda.
4.
Mayor Nelson.
4.
Deputy Mayor Pisner.
4.
And Counselor Ungary.
4.
10 members in favor, none against.
Okay, moving on to H, resolution authorizing the town manager to enter an agreement with the Capital Region Council of Governments. The Council of Government received federal grant monies from the State Department of Emergency Services and Public Protection. This grant provides funding for 6 regional set-aside projects: Regional Collaboration, Connecticut Intelligence Center, Metro Medical Response Team, Citizen Corps CERT, and Medical Preparation Response. Last year, the Town Council authorized the CROG MOU to share in the pass-through funds from DEMHS. This year, the pass-through funds retained by DEMHS totals $1,473,804 for the support of the regional program. We are again requesting that the Town Council approve CROG's MOU in order to have continued participation in the CROG's supported regional programs. Budget impact. This MOU partially reduces the local tax burden to support all regional projects that the town is involved within the capital region, such as Metro Traffic, CREST Team, and Emergency Management. It is recommended that the Town Council adopt the attached resolution at their November 20th, 2023 meeting. Be it resolved that the Enfield Town Council authorizes the town manager or his designee to execute and sign all documents necessary for the agreement with the Capital Region Council of Governments. Date prepared 11/20/23, prepared by Stephen M. Hall, Director of Emergency Management.
So moved.
Motion's made and seconded. Any questions? Councilman Hendrickson.
Through the mayor to the town manager, what does this cost the town?
And it's a very good question, sir. I'm asking the chief to come up. This is a critically important agreement. Many programs of the federal government, they will not give the money directly to the towns. Only if we are members of CROG are we eligible. We pay nothing, but we get a lot. As you can see, that pot of money was $1.4 million. They are critical programs for CREST, for emergency management, critical things that we wouldn't have the money. It actually would cost us hundreds of thousands of dollars to run these programs if we weren't a member. And I thank you, because with new members and, again, new residents, it's very important for you to hear just those 3 main programs, Chief, for him to tell you the importance. And we do have members and representatives that attend these meetings, but if we're not part of this, we're ineligible. Chief?
So the short answer is this costs you nothing. The way it works is the feds have the money, the feds gives the money to the state, that's DESPP. DESPP gives that money to CROG. CROG uses that money to do many regional undertakings, and amongst those regional undertakings are the Metro Traffic Training Program, and that's the group of officers that we participate in, along with others, that investigate fatal and serious injury accidents. They were deployed to East Windsor, as an example, just a couple of nights ago, if you heard about that. The CREST team, which is the regional tactical team, the SWAT team, if you will. And then finally, emergency management, which is Mr. Steve Hall's world, as a direct report that answers to Mr. Bromson. When CROG offers training, and when CROG offers stuff that's available for purchase, it is the cost, if we make one of those purchases or attend one of those training programs, is reduced by the amount of money CROG has. In other words, the tuition, if you will, is less because CROG is funding large portions of that with this state money. All this agreement calls for is an authorization to allow the town manager to become a signatory on the CROG MOU so we can be a member of this club. And thereafter, we decide what we want to participate in, what we want to take advantage of. apologies for the long-winded explanation, but that's actually the most concise way that I think I can put it.
No, it's critical, and it's, again, an attempt that the state and the federal government uses the carrot and the stick. They want certain things to be regional. We couldn't afford a CREST team by ourselves. We couldn't afford Metro enforcement by ourselves. So with these things, we must be at the table, and we've been there. It's a very worthwhile organization. We will have membership. We do attend the meetings, and as I said, it's something where it costs us nothing, but it brings us great benefits.
Anyone else?
Thank you. Thank you, Chief.
Yes, sir.
Counselor Sakala.
4.
Counselor Crisati.
4.
Counselor Finger.
4.
Counselor Hendrickson.
4.
Counselor Ludwig.
4.
Counselor Mangini.
4.
Counselor Nasuda.
4.
Mayor Nelson.
4.
Deputy Mayor Pisner.
4.
And Counselor Ungary.
4.
10 members in favor, none against.
Okay, moving on to I. Resolution setting a public hearing to amend Enfield Town Code Section 14-1, appointment of building inspector. Recommendation. Whereas the Town Code 14-1 states that the building inspector shall be appointed by the Director of Public Works as provided by Chapter 5, Section 9 of the Charter. And whereas the Charter, Chapter 5, Section 9, previously included a subsection B titled Building Inspectors, Power and Duties, and includes the provision that the Director of Public Works appoints the building inspector, and whereas the subsection B, as referenced above, was removed from the Charter as part of the Charter revision of 2014. And whereas on October 16, 2023, the Town Council adopted Resolution 6753 establishing a building department and creating the position of Chief Building Official, who shall be appointed by the town manager, and whereas Town Code Section 14-1 will have to be amended to reflect the changes referenced above, and whereas the Town Council wishes to seek input from the residents of the town of Enfield regarding the proposed amendment. Now, therefore, be it resolved, the Enfield Town Council will hold a public hearing in the Enfield Town Hall Council Chambers, 820 Enfield Street, Enfield, Connecticut, on Monday, December 4th, 2023, at 6:50 p.m. to allow interested residents an opportunity to express their opinions regarding the amendments to the Enfield Town Code Section 14-1. Date prepared, 10/27/23, prepared by the Town Manager's Office.
So moved.
Mr. Mayor?
Second.
Motion's made and seconded. Chris?
I would just like, Steve is going to answer the questions about this, but before I left, we wanted to make this change. I'm glad to see, I said the other evening that town government is a relay race. You pass things on. I'm so glad to see this was accomplished. Ray Stedward, whom is this person, is a stellar person. He is so well respected among his peers. I get nothing but positive feedback from him, from our residents. And when I left, I thought this position is so important, I didn't want anyone between him and me. And the previous manager agreed. Steve agrees. He's going to elaborate. But economic development is the most critical thing. We need to grow the grand list to be able to provide and continue to expand services. This is how we pay for it. Ray's an integral part of the team. The one thing I recognized the other night, but I failed to recognize the staff and the employees of the town of Enfield. They're second to none. And they are the ones who do the job that help you and me look good, but actually help our residents. No one does it better than Ray. And with that, Mr. Belinda can answer any questions, but he'll give you a little overview as well.
Yeah, this is just following through on what you guys did last month when we appointed Ray Stedward to be the director. We elevated him to a director status, so he works directly for the town manager. That's such a pivotal position, and many other towns have that as a director position, and we got the best of the best. He was recognized by his own peers as the best in the state of Connecticut. We couldn't lose him. So we have to now undo the process of the ordinance where the Director of Public Works appoints us, that's not happening anymore. He's going to report directly to the town manager. So
It's a message to our community and to developers and people in the town how important it is. Having said that, Ray, don't get too big ahead. I'll see you at the staff meeting in the morning.
Thank you. Any questions? Seeing none?
Counselor Sakala.
4.
Counselor Crisati.
4.
Counselor Finger.
4.
Counselor Hendrickson.
4.
Counselor Ludwig.
4.
Counselor Mangini.
4.
Counselor Nasuda.
4.
Mayor Nelson.
4.
Deputy Mayor Pisner.
4.
And Counselor Ungary.
4.
10 members in favor, none against.
Okay, moving on to 12, resolution to reestablish temporary residential parking permit program solely on Francis Avenue for 4 months. In order to allow Jimmy's Pub to continue to operate while eliminating some of the quality of life complaints and concerns for public safety access on this street, the Town Council will consider a temporary residential permit parking program between the hours of 10 p.m. and 6 a.m. This will be in effect for 4 months, subject to renewal. There is no budget impact. The recommendation is to approve the resolution to create a temporary residential permit parking program on the above referenced street. Be it resolved that the Enfield Town Council does hereby approve the proposal to create a temporary residential permit parking program for 4 months on the above referenced street, effective December 1st, 2023, subject to renewal on or before March 31st, 2024. Date prepared 11/16/2023, prepared by the Town Manager's Office.
So moved.
Motion's made and seconded. If the people would like to come forward. Yep. Mm-hmm.
There enough chairs?
Excuse me, Mr. Mayor, we don't generally have public participation at this time.
It's not, they're the parties who have come to an agreement to ask us, I believe, to table this item. So
Do we need a formal vote? It's on you, so if we show our hands, let them speak.
I guess we would need a vote to suspend the rules.
I'll defer to the clerk and to the town attorney. We don't want to preclude anybody, but we don't want to violate any rules either.
All right. I'll
Suspend the rules, I would.
I'll entertain a motion to suspend the rules.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So moved.
Motion's made and seconded. All in favor of suspending the rules?
Do we have a discussion on suspending of the rules?
Go ahead.
What's the purpose for suspending the rules here, Ken?
The purpose is that myself, Councilman Ludwig, and Councilman Hendrickson met with all parties this weekend, and I think, and I'm hoping they're coming with an agreement that we're not going to move forward on this, we're going to table it. And it's ultimately their decision if they have an agreement where we don't have to enforce a parking ban and they're going to try to work this out amongst themselves. I think that's a huge step forward on both sides because we've been listening to this for over a year now, and this is what we've ultimately wanted. But again, I don't want to make that decision just by our meeting. I thought it was pertinent that they talk to all of you, because Bob, you led this too.
Right. Yeah.
And without hearing it yourself, it might be hard to believe that we might be able to work this out. That's the reason we wanted them to speak.
Okay, thank you very
You're
much.
welcome. Councilman Mangini.
Thank you. Just for clarification, so we've suspended the rules to vote on this resolution. Is that correct?
No, to allow them to speak.
To allow the people to
about
speak.
the resolution.
Okay. So after they speak, do we go back to the resolution and yes, no, maybe? How does that work?
Excuse me, after the participants speak, we would need a motion to table if that were.
To table for what purpose?
We're going to listen and see.
I just explained.
No, I understand they're coming up with something, but we have a resolution in front of us. and maybe just through our mayor to Sheila, is that Robert's rules? Is that what we would do? I want to be sure that we are following the proper.
Once the motion is made, that is on the agenda, which is to approve this permit, and it's made and seconded, any counselor can make a motion to table, and then we would vote on whether to table.
And I will just say, this is something we'll go over when we do our workshops with the town attorney. I think normally what we do, gentlemen, is not that you wouldn't be heard. Probably what we like to do is at the beginning of the meeting, we can have special guests, or in public communication, you can be heard so that then when they take action on it, they are informed of your position. Since we didn't do that, as long as the town attorney and the clerk believe that we're following the rules by suspending, I think no harm, no foul. This evening, you could proceed, follow her advice, but in the future, I think we should do it on a public communication special guest, and that way we keep the lines clear.
That falls on me because they
that's
had
all right.
asked and I
No,
had said
and
they
I
could
said
come
I
up.
don't want anybody not to be heard tonight. And if we had known, we would have said come in public communication and voice your opinion. But we don't want the perfect to be the enemy of the good. So as long as they are comfortable, I am comfortable. Sheila, you comfortable?
Yes, I just want to confirm the vote to suspend the rules because it looked like it was 8-2, and I wanted to confirm that that was the case.
Again, show of hands.
Well, I was done my question.
To suspend the rules so you can.
Okay.
And you see, communication, now it's unanimous. That's what we want.
Thank you.
So thank you.
Yeah, I just have one comment
Go ahead,
through
Bob.
the mayor to the town manager. Tomorrow we do have a policy meeting. I think maybe we could maybe discuss that just for a short period of time.
Absolutely.
Okay, great. Thank you. Okay,
Any other questions?
Thank you.
All right. Cindy, I think you still had sorry, point of order. I think you still had the floor, correct? Before
Go
Bob
ahead.
asks his question?
I was going to ask a second part.
Yeah, I think, you had the floor,
Go
right?
ahead.
Yeah.
The second part of my question, if we are in fact going to table this resolution, does that mean it falls off the table at some point? It gets put on the back burner and leave it there, or do we bring it back forward?
So if we table, Cindy just stays on until
Moves
we bring
to
it back
old
up.
business.
And it's like you have to have two people to bring it off the table.
Or perhaps another solution that
Correct.
these individuals are going to bring
Right,
forward?
At some point,
Okay,
if there's an agreement, we would vote to take it off the
okay,
table.
all right, thank you.
Our goal is, Cindy, in 2060, while you're still sitting here, you're like, oh, I remember when we
You're fresh.
did this.
You are fresh.
Welcome. Tell us what we've got.
All right. Well, good evening,
Could you please
everyone.
identify yourself and your address, sir, just so the people at home will know who we're listening from, too?
Robert Bukowski, 21 Francis.
Kenneth Bedard, 27 Burnham Street.
So, first of all, I'd like to say congratulations to Mayor Nelson, Deputy Mayor Pisner, and to all the new and returning councilors, and our new and returning town manager as well. I would like to ask you to table item J, parking ban on Francis. I do want to state that I like that it only applies to Francis. That would allow us to solve the problem on Francis while having the least possible impact on Jimmy's Pub. Yesterday afternoon, residents of Francis, the Buds, the Dubiels, and I had a meeting with the owners of Jimmy's Pub, Mayor Nelson, and councilors Ludwig and Hendrickson. So for the past several weeks, Jimmy's Pub has been giving a lot more attention to the issues occurring at the top of Francis Avenue. They have an employee, or sometimes even Ken himself, standing out by the road asking for customer cooperation and respect for the neighborhood. Simply just being there is a deterrent in and of itself. This has been successful, not quite 100%, but significantly. Ken has assured us that these efforts will continue. At the same time, Mayor Nelson has assured us that the parking ban will be reconsidered if these issues are not managed effectively by Jimmy's Pub. I have to note that presently there are only a limited number of vehicles parking on the street. As street parking increases, we hope that the problems do not reoccur. The issue of one-side parking, which is a contentious issue, is best dealt with separately and requires much more residential involvement before a decision is made. But as for the other issues, it does seem reasonable to let Ken Bedard manage these issues himself without town council involvement. So I'm asking for this issue to be tabled, and we can see how things play out, and if necessary, we can easily revisit the issue. Thank you.
Thank you. Ken?
Thank you. I also would like to have this issue tabled. We had a productive meeting yesterday. It's nice to have dialogue with the neighbors and to have civil conversation again. We are putting a lot of effort out to stop the bad behavior on Francis Avenue. It's working. We have put up signs and people are stopping for them. They're actually talking to the attendant that happens to be out there. If the car is full of people, we ask them to unload it at the top of the street. When they come back out, we ask them to just send the driver down the street. We are not going to be perfect in our efforts. We will do our damnedest to make sure that everything that we can control, we can and do. It's going to be a work in progress, but we will continue to develop other strategies if need be, should something slip by. I expect occasionally something stupid to happen, especially after the hour of midnight. But we will have people out there to help prevent that from happening again. We don't want to have this adversarial dialogue with our neighbors. I respect the neighbors for who they are, where they live, and what they're going through. I wouldn't want it on my street. You know, if the kind of bad behavior were happening, I would like to have dialogue with the person who was somewhat responsible for it, and that would, at the end of the day, the buck stops here. So, that being said, if we can table this issue, and as long as there's no shenanigans on the street, or we can keep them to a minimum, if we could possibly take it off the agenda after 6 months, or at some desirable point in time, once we've hopefully proven that we can manage the bad behavior on the street. Thank you.
Questions for them? Anyone? I'll entertain a motion.
comment.
I just want to thank the residents and Ken and your family for sitting down and discussing this like adults and finally calm down. And I think this is the best way to resolve this rather than get other people involved in it. Thanks for everybody to get it.
Councilman Pisner.
I just want to say thank you. In the spirit of Thanksgiving, I am thankful.
Me too.
Thank you.
Anyone else? I'll entertain a motion to table.
I have a motion to table.
Second.
Motion's made and seconded. All in favor? Tabling? It's unanimous. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And,
Happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Group hug, group hug.
let's not push it.
I love that, a handshake, good.
Okay, moving on to 13. Any other business proper to come before said meeting? Seeing none. 14, moving on to public communications. George Young.
George Young, 8 Holly Lane. I do congratulate them also because last month I said they should do it for a year and just get together. But I'm happy to see this somewhat tabled and resolved for at least temporarily. I just want to make a couple of comments, and I have a question. Is there going to be a shred day in Enfield before the end of the year, or do we have to plan that? And the second one is, when will the June 30th, 2023 financial statements be ready for us to take a look at? If John can answer that, or the town manager, that'd be great. And this last thing I want to say is, I know I had a quote about the town charter, okay? And I'll reread it and then give you an explanation. The manager shall devote full time to the duties of the office, and during the term of the office shall reside in said town. If you look up the definition of shall, which I did, of course, it's used to express or command, you shall go. It's used in law, regulations, or directives to express what is mandatory. For example, she'll be unlawful to carry arms. That's my opinion, but I would defer this to Mark Serrato, the town attorney, but I just throw this out there to clarify what I had said earlier. Thanks and happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Lucian?
Lucian Lefebvre, 54 Kimberly Drive. I just want to get on board with Councilor Sakala on the cookies for camouflage. I have had the unique experience of being on both ends of this. I was on the receiving end in my time in Iraq, and now I'm on the sending end of this. And I can tell you from personal experience, what they send over there is so appreciated by the troops. And it's not just cookies that go in those boxes. There's toiletries. There's all kinds of things that go in there. And people have to understand that in some of the places these people are, there's no PX to go buy these things. So that being said, I mean, I just can't stress enough how much this program should be supported, whether you donate goods or money towards the shipping of it. I know it's an expensive endeavor to ship it. And some people, I think, have asked why there's a limited number of people that they send it to, that they send multiple boxes to. When I was over there, you sent it to a unit. So you got this huge box addressed to the unit. Now, Department of Defense changed the policy to where it has to be sent to an individual. So they find these individuals that are in these units, send them multiple boxes, and trust me, those guys are going to share it with everybody. So that's all I've got to say, and everybody, happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you, Lucian. Anyone else? Anyone else? Okay, moving on to Councilman Communications. Councilman Sakala?
Thanks. Just really quickly, Mr. Young, I don't know the exact date, but I think our town manager may remember. And just so you know, I'm going to say maybe 5 years ago or so, we actually got an outside legal opinion on this very issue, shall versus can versus have, regarding the residency requirement. So it wasn't us that made that decision. It wasn't the town manager. It wasn't the assistant or our attorney for the town. It actually, we got an outside, I'm going to say like a civil procedure expert attorney. Don't quote me on that though, but we did get that. So we have
your
that
memory
legal
is very
opinion in
good.
writing.
And areas of the charter, when state or federal, the Supreme Court rules, that takes precedence over the charter, and that's what's occurred. I remember way back, one council on a meeting like this terminated municipal trash pickup. And the charter said, and the court said, no, shall means may in some circumstances. And we rely on the attorneys for their reliance. No, but thank you for the question, and I thank you for the clarification.
Leave it to attorneys. Just use the word must. Simplify things.
Well, it's trouble when you have three of them sitting up here.
Because you get paid to determine what that word means. All right, anyone else? Councilman Ungary.
Just want to wish everyone a very happy Thanksgiving. Enjoy your time with your family and friends. We have a lot to be thankful for. Thank you.
Anyone else? I also want to say happy Thanksgiving to everyone. Have a safe holiday weekend, and thank you.
Motion adjourned.
Second.
Motion's made and seconded. All in favor? Unanimous. Thank you, everyone. Have a great night.